Hello, this is Louise Eddington, the Cosmic Owl Astrology, and Leo Moon today, so I feel like having a hoot, hoot, hoot. Somebody suggested yesterday that I said, make these hoots from the Cosmic Owl. So what do you think to that? Anyway, I'm making this one public because I'm realizing I don't actually tell people I have a membership portal very often. So this video is going out to all of you for this weekend so that you can see the kind of video that I do for my members all the time. So for just $5 a month, you get videos most days of the week talking about the energies, and a month ahead video, and when I get time, written report to go with it. Things have been a bit crazy this year energetically, and I've not been managing to write and do video, but I will be doing. But anyway, and there's a couple of other memberships with more benefits, but just $5 a month, a cup of coffee would get you lots of these videos. Anyway, let me share, and we're going to talk about the energies of the weekend. So as I said, we have the moon in Leo right now, and the moon in Leo is really making no aspects all day. It started by making aspects early, but it's kind of floating free now until these all times are mountain. Use World Time Buddy to convert to your own time clock. This is Salt Lake City time. All right, so overnight for those of us in Utah, and the west coast of the US, we have the moon opposing Ceres in Aquarius, which may bring, you know, some awarenesses and ideas around the natural cycles of the earth and saving the earth and that kind of thing, and humanitarian ideas. Sorry, I'm going to pull a couple of cards as well. So that's really we don't have anything happening really energetically, apart from some very minor aspects, which I don't usually look at too much. Occasionally. Okay. So that's what we have happening for the rest of Friday. I'm recording this at just after 2 Mountain Time. Then on Saturday, we have the moon carrying on in Leo. And the moon will, again, make very few aspects. This moon is not void, but is carrying on, kind of making not many aspects. Okay, so we can see the lines coming from the moon. And then it does start to make an inconjunct aspect, and look at this. Okay. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning Mountain Time. That'll be about 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the UK, to kind of give you an idea of where times are. We have the moon making or being the focal point of a finger of fate or God from this applying conjunction here that's going to dominate the weekend. I'll talk about that more in a minute. And then Pallas Athena, the visionary cosmic owl, giving a hoot, saying, I can see things that have been unseen before. And with Venus and Neptune in Pisces, it can be either very magical and shiny and creative and cosmic, or it can be a little bit depressed. Sun Neptune can go a bit either way for people, depending how it affects you. But the point of the finger of fate, God, that's tying in the visionary owl in Capricorn, the sign of structure and limitation, and man-made rules, is aspecting this, asking us to bring in the spirit, bring in source to this piercing our vision of seeing how we create new structures. And it's pointing at the moon in the sign of the sun, Leo, saying, follow your heart, Follow your heart. I've talked about this before, but really, you know, a lot of us do not follow our heart. We follow what people have told us. We don't look at what we really deeply desire. We're not accepting of who we really are. We have all this shame and limitations and things holding us back. And then here we have this finger of fate saying, follow your heart. So that's a lovely way to start the Saturday. I do kind of think it's quite a magical weekend, to be honest. And really, this kind of dominates. Okay, so I'm going to go forward by the hour. We can see as well the moon is coming up to make a sextile to Juno. So we've kind of got this envelope pattern here. Do you see it? Okay, we've got the sextile between Pallas Athena and Venus and Neptune. We've got Juno in Libra talking about the rights of women, the oppressed, the abused, and the sacred marriage, really, of everything, bringing it all together and remembering that we are all sacredly married to each other, really. And then we have a second finger of God forming. So this forms this envelope pattern connecting all of them in this amazing pattern of asking us to follow our heart, to connect with source and spirit and see a way forward to bringing us all into this sacred marriage. This is really a beautiful configuration for bringing everything together and to break free from a lot of our past conditioning and patterns. Okay. So then I'm going to, the sun moves on and this, the moon moves on and this starts to separate. Okay, and the moon then moves on to trine Eris over here, saying, let's shake things up a little bit. So it's kind of a joyful weekend, but we're seeing many ways of how to move forward with this energy. It's kind of really joyful and really fun. I hope you'll all listen to an interview I did with Carolyn Elliott, or myself and Jen did for our Weirdly Magical podcast, and we talk about this being light about it, laughing at yourself. This is kind of all this energy. And then the moon moves on again, and we honestly do not have any other exact aspects. Exact in the late on Saturday will be the Pallas Athena to Neptune aspect, but because Pallas Athena was in sextile to the sun, this is all in the Pallas Athena Sun Neptune aspect is happening now, Friday, and happening into Saturday and right through Saturday. Then on, let me just check the Sunday. So then on Sunday morning, okay, we have a short void, of course, after the moon opposes Mercury. And remember, Mercury's stationing. Mercury turns direct on Monday. So let me get to that exact opposition. Okay, so early on Sunday, the moon aspect opposes retrograde Mercury that is stationed at his station degree, ready to turn direct on Monday. So we get a blast of incoming information and ideas and things about how we can follow our heart, how we can move forward. And then we have a brief void, of course, moon, and the moon moves into Virgo on Sunday morning. And think that's more earthly, more grounded, but it's still a magical weekend. But there is that side part of possible depression, depending on how you react to these things. But we have a much busier Sunday. So as soon as the moon moves into Virgo, remember we're about to have the Virgo full moon on Monday, okay? So the moon will so the moon will move into Virgo at exactly 3:47 a.m. Yeah, on Sunday. And then the sun will exactly conjunct Neptune. Oh, I think I've gone past it. But anyway, they were exactly conjunct Neptune. Let me get back to that. There we go. And that is, it's a 9 number, 9 and a 5, endings and change. The sun is passing over Neptune. It only does it once a year. It's a complete blast of Neptunian energy, dazzling, okay, with the sun. And Neptunian energy, especially in Pisces, as I said, can be depressing because some people don't like the nebulousness of it all, about how it's so hard to grasp and not solid. But if you can step into the magic of it, it's an amazingly magic energy. And if you look at it, it's in conjunct to that sacred marriage energy over there that I've talked about calling us to realize we're in this sacred marriage with each other and with Source, that it's all connected, everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. Trump supporters, Bernie Sanders supporters, Biden supporters, Warren supporters, all of them, Boris Johnson supporters, all of us, we are in this cosmic soup, this Pisces energy together. And we have to find a way to surrender and let go of our limiting beliefs and our differences, and realize that we are in this big collective swamp and soup together. Okay, it's not easy to do, but this is the energy, really, if you can step into it, the magical energy of real higher love, to quote the song. It's the energy of the true Christ consciousness, the peace, the unconditional love, you know, the helping the lepers, the helping, all that kind of energy. This is what that energy is really about. It's quite magical. Then as we move on through the day, okay, after the Venus conjunction, the moon in Virgo will move on to trine both Venus and Neptune. So let me move on. Venus and Neptune are approaching their conjunction. So you can see that over here, we get this strong blue line, and it's actually making a grand trine or a kite with the nodes, because this is aspecting the nodes too. This is, again, it's lovely energy, really. It's an earthy trine with the outlet being the North Node in Cancer, saying, remember, we're all in this together, one big family. We've got that energy again. Venus in Taurus is our values, our core values, our relationship to the earth and everything that's material, our relationship to our material world and our family, and anything that's other. Okay, Uranus says radical change, revolutionize, change how you see it, and move towards this North Node. The moon in Virgo is saying, come whole unto yourself emotionally and be useful to the world. Be of service to others, and be of good. The moon is also in an inconjunct aspect to Chiron and Black Moon Lilith over here in Aries. That's saying break free of knowing of this separation kind of thing. And in that interview with Carolyn Elliott, I think there's lots of words going to go around about it. She talked about the word individuation, which is individual, you individuate, but it also means indivisible, if you like. It's also connected to the word indivisible. We are individuals that are indivisible from the others. So we individuate in our mind, but we're really spiritually connected with everything. So here we're breaking free from this feeling that we have to do everything alone. We can only bring our part to it, but we do not have to do everything alone. So it's quite an awesome weekend leading up to Monday's full moon, I have to say. What else do we have aspecting? Well, Venus will exactly conjunct Uranus at 4 degrees of Taurus, exactly 4 degrees of Taurus. And the new moon is going to be, the full moon, oh no, the next new moon in Aries and the last new moon. We're kind of halfway in between right now, the new moons. The next new moon is going to be 6th new moon at 4 degrees. Okay, so that 4-degree mark is just a real highlighted degree. We're getting a lot of these things keep coming up and coming up and coming up. So we have that, and it's kind of going to say make some radical changes about how you live your values and how you bring yourself to all of this. So I actually want to read the Chandra symbol for that 4 degrees of Taurus. Let me see if there's anything else. Okay, I'll talk about the end of the moon in a minute, or the moon. All the other aspects really tie in this overall theme of kind of magical transformation, magical radical transformation and change that you can bring into this weekend by following your heart and then making it useful and practical and doing how you do it. But let's look at this Chandra symbol, the channeled symbol for that 4 degree of Taurus mark. It's tiny porcelain figures of people wandering along the forgotten places. You feel saturated with memories and reflections, enchanted and left alone to sift through all of it in your own good time. Subtly and pervasively removed from what is going on around, you are adrift in your own inward pictures. What comes of this is highly variable. It can be a fertile cycle to melt into the moon and come out refreshed and rewoven. It can be heavily seductive and habit forming, in which case you sink into a world apart and are really held there in subtle chains. Or it can be a secret doorway into the fairy kingdoms in order to commune with those who animate the elements and the inner worlds. One way or another, it is one of those regions that you can never navigate through unless you belong there. And if you do, you may be lost there or you may be found there, with everything dependent upon your heart force and your depth of resolve to stay faithfully with the subtle cues. I found that really, really interesting. So to kind of finish up this energy, on Sunday as well, I'm just looking. No, we don't. After that Venus Uranus conjunction, we do have an early morning trine to Mars over there on Monday. Mars in Capricorn. And remember, the moon will be almost full at this point. And then the moon will oppose. So here we have this trine to Neptune, to Mars, saying, you know, this is full moon energy. You should wake up on Monday morning going, I've got to get shit done. I've got to get to work and create and build, as this full moon energy, like this energy that is massive on Monday. And then, and I will be doing another video on Sunday night for my members, but we have an opposition then early Monday morning to Neptune, and then we'll have the full moon, and then later that day Mercury stations direct. So the weekend overall starts quite quiet. We have the Leo moon being a bit more like today. It's been quite easygoing, quite fun, quite joyful. The energy shifts on Sunday when the moon moves into Virgo, and the aspects get really busy, and it's a little bit kind of like big awarenesses, big shocks, radical changes coming, and then we get to the full moon, the big release. Okay. And I always think of this Virgo full moon as bringing, and this one is conjunct Neptune, so it's bringing that Christ consciousness down to earth, So all that I talked about seeing how you individually can play your part in recognizing that we're all in this together and that we are in this cosmic soup together and in this collective, you can bring that into use on Monday. So again, thank you all. Have a happy weekend. I'll see you all, you little owlets, on Monday. And if you'd like to become an owlet, the link is below.